Chapter 10. Eros took my hand and led me to Javier, Zane, and Maria. I scooted onto the very end of the booth, next to Maria, who was smirking at me. She was wearing a sexy mermaid costume, a skin-tight green sequin skirt with two colorful seashells covering her breasts and a lilac-covered starfish pinned in her hair. "Girl, you look sexy," she said. I adjusted the horns on my head and sipped my water. Zane leaned against the table, his green elf hat nearly falling off, and raised a brow. "Is that water? How are you supposed to have any fun with that?" Heat crawled up my neck. Truth was that I wasn't planning to have any fun tonight. Not after last year. Especially if people remembered. Maria wrapped an arm around my shoulders and pulled me closer. "Danny's going to have the time of her life tonight, with or without alcohol." Her breath smelled like beer, but I was grateful for her. At least she didn't tell them what had happened. Throughout the night, I watched Maria flirt with Javier and Zane, who each had a girl that I had never met before tucked under their arms and were whispering to them. The two girls and Maria were giggling at Zane's vaguely pointed elf ears and trying on Javier's plastic golden cross that was part of his priest costume. Eros, on the other hand, didn't pay attention to any of them. He didn't even try to flirt. Instead, he was gently tightening and relaxing one of his hands into a fist on top of the table. His ring glistened under the dim light, giving it a slight pink tint against his tan skin. His gaze was fixed on me. But when I looked at him, even if it was for a moment, those green eyes would darken and he'd look away. I gazed around, trying to find Trayvon or even Casey, but they both seemed to have disappeared. Samantha was still behind the bar, pushing drinks to customers who were too drunk to stand straight. Bouncers were walking through the crowd every now and then. At one point, Maria tried to drag me onto the dance floor with the rest of the group, but I declined. Eros and I stayed at the table. The girls were grinding against Javier and Zane, eyes closed slightly, their skirts riding up their legs, hips moving so sensually. Partition played through the speakers, and a part of me wanted to get out there and forget about my worries, let my body move with ease, let loose with Eros behind me, his hands on my hips, pulling me closer, his lips against my ear, whispering something sinful to me. I gnawed on my lip and glanced over at him. He was staring right at me and didn't look away this time. His fingers grazed against the stubble on his face. "Are you thinking about me, Danny?" My cheeks flushed, and I looked down. I wished I had the liquid courage to admit that I was thinking about him, had been thinking about him, and couldn't stop. But I was a coward, and I was taken by a man who would rather spend his night drinking in his office than see me dressed up for him. I grabbed Mom's pendant and glanced around the room, not being able to hold his stare. Trayvon was leaning against the bar, chatting with Samantha, a half-empty glass in his hand. I sighed. "No," I said. Eros leaned his forearms onto the table, biceps flexing. He picked up his drink and swirled it around, still staring intensely at me. "I hope you know that liars are sent to hell." I'd been sinning since the day I met him. I doubted that I'd be sent anywhere else. "It's good I'm not a liar then." He chuckled lowly and shook his head, pieces of his dark hair falling onto his face. "Danny, there's a special place in hell for you." I shuffled up in the seat, dropped Mom's pendant from my fingers, and leaned close to the table, breasts pressing against it. And I bet it's filled with demons that'll eat me alive, right? His gaze traveled down my chest, then back up. They'll tear you apart. My eyes lingered on his plump lips, hanging off of each word that he said. They'll leave you trembling. I pressed my knees together. He brushed his fingers against my cheek, his ring warming my skin, and lightly grasped my chin. They'll bite into your soft flesh. They'll make me scream, won't they? I asked. He took a deep breath, jaw tensing. Damn it, Danny. They'll make you do more than that. My God, I wanted him closer. Hell doesn't seem that bad, I whispered. A stabbing pain split through my stomach. I placed a hand over it, hoping that it wouldn't ruin this moment because I was about to do something so sinful, and hell looked way too appealing for me to pass up now. I was sure that Mom would have thought Eros was pure evil, but all I could think about was the growing ache between my legs and how he was the only one who could stop it. His gaze dropped to my lips. He smelled so good. Another pain pierced through the other side of my stomach. Fuck, I whispered, leaning back. I squeezed my eyes shut. This couldn't be happening. Not again. Are you okay? Eros asked, brows furrowed together. That lustful look in his eyes had disappeared. You look pale. No, 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 not here. Not now. He brushed his hand against my cheek, but I pushed it away. My stomach tightened and I gripped the table, pulling myself to the edge of the booth. Everything suddenly felt weak. I need to get to the bathroom. I used all of my energy to stand, and then I doubled over onto the ground. My stomach churned. Bile burned at the back of my throat, and it happened. I placed my hand on the filthy bar floor, my arms shaking. Everything I had eaten earlier was now lying in a thick puddle in front of me. A girl screamed when she stepped in it with her shiny silver stilettos. People scurried away from our booth, wide eyes fixed on me. All I felt was a heap of shame and embarrassment. I stumbled to my feet and rushed to the bathroom before it happened again. Sweat was dripping down my back in this latex suit. My fingers were trembling. Tears were streaming down my cheeks. I locked the bathroom door, grasped onto the sink, using all of my strength to hold myself up, and puked again. Why was this happening again? What was wrong with me? Tears welled up in my eyes. Not only did I just embarrass myself in front of everyone here, but Eros too. One moment I was thinking about sitting with him. The next, I was on the ground, puke spewing from my mouth. Why was I such an embarrassment? Mascara was rolling down my cheeks, leaving black, splotchy lines. My hair was disheveled. Someone knocked on the door. Danny, Maria said. Can I come in? I wrapped my arms around myself and leaned against the wall. I didn't want anyone to see me like this. I just wanted to go home, where I should have been. Please open the door, Casey said a few moments later. I didn't respond to her either. Another pain gnawed at the inside of my stomach. I squeezed my eyes shut, hoping that it would go away this time, and thankfully it did. But how could I go back out there tonight? I couldn't. Maybe Trayvon would let me hide in his office until the night was over. No way was I going to face all of those people, even for just a moment. After talking myself out of jumping through the window and disappearing for the night that way, I opened the door, expecting to see either Maria or Casey. Eros was leaning against the wall with his jaw clenched, eyes focused intensely on me. He gripped my glass of water in his hand. "Did you leave your drink alone?" Can you just leave me alone, Eros?" I whispered and wrapped my arms around my body. I tried to squeeze by him and sneak into the hallway to Trayvon's office, but he grabbed my arm. "No, I can't. Someone spiked your drink." He pulled me closer to him. "Now, did you place your glass down anywhere?" I shook my head. No. Tears pricked at the corners of my eyes again. I never set it down. Not once. My gaze shifted behind him to Trayvon, who was storming toward us, lips in a tight line, tie loose around his neck. He had a dirty mop in one hand. "Danny, I need to speak with you in my office now." He hurried down the hallway to his office and held the door open for me. After giving Eros my weakest grimace, I walked into Trayvon's office. There was an open bottle of brandy on his desk, and a pile of costumes and accessories that people must have left or lost tonight on the plush green chair across from his desk. He slammed the door and placed the mop against the wall. "What was that?" I'm sorry." "Sorry, Danny? That's all you have to say? This is the second time you've puked everywhere in my bar, and each time I have to clean up your mess." I parted my lips, keeping my eyes trained on the floor. Eros said that my drink was spiked. He gave me a hollow laugh. "You think your drink was spiked? Really? You think someone would spike your drink 2 fucking parties in a row? Do you know the probability of that?" he asked, his breath reeking of alcohol. He walked to his desk and shook his head. "I'm sorry," I said. "I don't know what you want me to say." "How much did you have to drink tonight?" "I didn't have anything." "Don't bullshit me," he said, jaw twitching. The raging look he was giving me was absolutely terrifying. I had never seen him look so wrathful before. "I didn't. Why would I lie to you?" I clenched my teeth together. "Why are you acting like this?" Guilt flashed across his face, but disappeared almost immediately. After a few moments of complete silence, he shook his head again and snatched a gold chain off his desk, throwing it into the pile of clothes on the green chair. "How much?" "What don't you understand about the word none? I had nothing. Maybe if you actually saw me tonight, you would know that. But you were having such a merry fucking time with everyone else. Couldn't be seen with the girlfriend that you begged to come." "Danny, no." I stepped forward. "Don't Danny me. I came here for you, not to dress up and dance and have a good time. I came here because you wanted me to. You told me you wanted to show me off. And what do you fucking do? Ignore me all fucking night?" "Is that why you puked everywhere?" His voice was oddly calm. "You wanted to get my attention." I dug my nails into my palms. "Are you serious right now? Are you really fucking serious?" I stormed to the door. I wished he'd never opened this stupid damn bar. "I'm not taking this anymore. I'm leaving." "Less I have to clean up later on," Trayvon said under his breath. I slammed the door. Fuck him. Fuck this whole damn thing. He wasn't going to ever have to clean up my mess again because I would never come back to this place. This bar was far more important to him than I ever was.
You've reached the end of this episode. Thanks for listening. To get up to 4 weeks additional uncensored content, subscribe to the podcast at reamstories.com/AmeliaRoseAudio. Due to content restrictions, explicit sex scenes will only be available through Ream. But if you'd like to continue listening to my free episodes, make sure to hit the follow button to receive updates.